Okay. We finished off 3-4. Everyone collectively said, yeah, easy. At least those who were participating. So head to, what page is this? 103. Because we were supposed to go back and do these ones. Can y'all see where the final shading answer is? On 4, it's in between the two. On 5, it's to the right-hand side. Okay. So check those. No, you are not just copying things down. You will get very bad test grade if all you do is copy crap down. Do it for real. But please, check things. Okay. Then, here, let's just do this and scroll down. 7 and 8 from the assignment. Again, both are on that rightmost side, should be the only part shaded. If you got something goofed, circle it, put a star on it, something. I'm going to keep going. 9 and 10, both that bottom right section. Again, just yay or nay. If you got it wrong, put a star on it, a circle on it, something. We'll go through them. 11, they are the leftmost sections. 11 and 12. I think the biggest thing we would have to worry about with those isn't even the shading, it's going to be the scale. We got to watch out for the scales. Okay. On the back side, 13. You had 4 of them to do. And this is why I like the arrows. Because if you had tried to do 4 at once with the lightly shade here, lightly shade that way, crosshatch method, this would have been a sloppy mess. But if you use those little arrows, you'd see all your arrows pointing in towards the middle of that diamond. And 14 was just do the same thing. They gave you the 2 inequalities. I know this looks shaded up here. This is the final answer because we're shading up from 2 and then below this diagonal line. So this little wedge down here. And then some vocab and thinking. Vocab is usually pretty straightforward. The thinking part, could there ever be a system of linear inequalities in which there is no solution, meaning the graphs would never overlap? Oh, yes, there was. That was even one of our examples. You could have parallel lines that never overlap, and their shaded areas are headed separately, like both sides of the highway, like in each ditch. They're never going to cross. Okay? So, with that said, any of those that we need to go through? Yes, ma'am.
Number 7.
Okay. So, let me get rid of this. We'll get the non-filled out version. People look so creepy on here when they're inverted.
Yeah.
Come on, Frank.
You can do it, buddy. I believe in you.
So slow. Okay. You said 7? All right. Contestant 1, where are you starting?
4.5.
Okay. We can ballpark 4.5, right? Halfway through the box between 4 and 5. My slope, I put -3 over 1 so that I get my fraction. Ain't that funny? Like, that's D-tier dad joke, low-hanging fruit right there. Okay. Um,
Not gonna repeat what I'm thinking.
from here, I can go down 1, 2, 3, right 1. Down 1, 2, 3, right 1. Down 1, 2, 3, right 1. Solid or dotted there, Chuckles?
Solid.
Okay, for those of you that were gone, you're getting the short version here. Will that one shade up or down? If y is greater than the line? Up. So I go to where it hits the y-axis and I shade up, or in this case, this way. Instead of shading, I'm not going to shade yet, because I've got 2 of these to worry about, and I need to see where they overlap. So I'm just going to put little arrows on there to say, that way. Move on to the next one. Where are you starting?
-2 on the y-axis.
And the slope is up 7, right 1. Or, because I need more so my line isn't horribly crooked, I'm going to go up 3.5 and over 1/2 as well. Down 3.5 over 1/2 as well. Solid or dotted? Okay. And remember, I can say y is less than the line, so I just shade down from the line. Or I can plug in 0, 0 and get 0 is less than -2. Is that true? So, since flat broke is not worse than owing money, I shade away from the 0, 0. So what we had done is we put all these little arrows on there. Instead of shading twice and then having to darken the living crap out of my answer, where are all of my arrows pointing? This right-hand section. So everywhere over here. There's my answer. Okay. What else? Or are we good? Okay. It is graph this one, graph that one, but hold up on the shading until you can see which of your 4 sections is going to be the final answer, and only shade that area. Okay. For those who were gone, the short version, yes, you should go back and do the video, is, man, does it suck to say, I'm going to shade everything on this side of the blue line, and then I'm going to shade everything on this side of the yellow line, and now you got this big honking mess of where is my final answer. It's where they overlap, and then someone's going to come along and just like murder hobo their board or their paper. You're going to get that kid who comes along now and does this. Can you still tell where the answer is? If you lightly shaded, murdered this section. Yeah, you can tell. But it's sloppy. Okay? That's why we had been using the arrows, or at least I was. I don't know. As I was going around and seeing those of you that were working, most of us were using the arrows. I hope I made enough of a case for those being neater. But, well, if that's the case then, we are at daily check stage. Let's find here's a blank graph. Here we go. 3.4 systems of inequalities. Okay, I would like you to solve by graphing y greater than there. Because we have done some practice in which, actually a lot of practice, in which our inequality is not written in slope-intercept form. You might have to do some work to make it look like slope-intercept form. Okay? So, y'all do that. I'm going to go grab your review and test. I need a drink first. Again, if you were gone, probably not a good idea to do this until you watch through the video from Tuesday. Not a good idea to do this until you watch through Tuesday's video and you do all of the notes and the examples and the practice. Then I would do it.
Jason's great file stuff. Oh, even doing like these. I'll clean that now, I guess. You want to be a second? I didn't answer your son. Come on, we're just doing that. Hold on. I come back on me. I got 140 ways. And 140 ways. I can. You just aimed at the wall. Yeah. See, that's what I'm stupid at. Marcus, let me back to it. Dude, I look you like that. What?
Okay. We need more time, or are we good? A little bit? Okay. It's okay. That is enough time to pass out these. If we need to get caught up on stuff, we should probably get caught up on stuff instead of playing pool. Otherwise, the entire class is losing any and all device privileges, and we will all blame you. Absolutely. In fact, still need. Okay. Well, I'm going to give it to you. You're going to need it eventually, whether you're doing the video or doing it right now with us. Ms. LaCroix, there's not special letters after my name, but that kid needs to do ABOS and ADOS. I don't know how that would go over with family, but oh yeah, oh yeah. I grew up in that era. That's like the Kool-Aid Man, Randy Savage with the Slim Jims. Oh, that is my childhood right there. Yeah, they were. They were terrifying. All right. But before I had agency and was allowed to start cutting my own hair or decide, y'all, Sullivan used to have the rat tail.
Oh, Lord.
The rat tail.
Oh, please, God, no.
Oh yeah. Had the rat tail, the denim jacket.
Those are actually still pretty popular.
No, they're not. It's
Yes, they are.
no, it's just hicks who want to live in the past because it's free. Nope, not come there. We have first one. Where is first one starting? -4. Oh, because you said -4.
Huh?
Oh, okay. All right. You know what? Let's go big. Okay. -4. Bump. And then from there, what is my slope? Up to right 1. If you need to write your slope with the arrows, please do so. Up to right 1, up to right 1, up to right 1, up to right 1. Like so. Solid or dotted?
Dotted.
Less ink here, less ink there. Close enough. And which way shalleth I shadeth?
Down.
This says y is greater than the line. Greater than the line.
Down.
Y's are greater above.
No. No.
Yeah, isn't 1 greater than -2? Isn't 3 greater than 1? Y's are greater up. I will shade up. Also, if I plug in 0, 0, I get 0 is greater than -4, which is true. And since that is true, I will shade towards the 0. Okay. Then contestant 2 doesn't look quite right because we're used to things being in slope-intercept form. And that's the method that is kind of burned into our heads. So who's got to move for that to be in slope-intercept form?
2x.
Okay. I'll subtract 2x. Getting 3y is less than or equal to -2x plus 6. They are not the same critter, so they just stand awkwardly next to each other. And nope, wrong color. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Remember, you do it for all of them. What you do for one, you do for all. So that is y. That is -2/3 x, which is fine because that's my slope. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I will start at 2, dot, go right 3, and because it's negative, down 2. Right 3, down 2. Right 3, down 2. Or up to left 3. Solid or dotted? Solid. So this guy gonna be like that. And which way does that one get shaded if we say y is less than the line? That one is down. Also, if I put 0, 0 in my original, I get 0 is less than or equal to 6, which is true. So I shade towards 0. Do you see which of the 4 sections those are all shading towards?
Yes.
So that is my final answer. I'm going to be over here. So, what I want for your score here is blue line. Did you have, I'm going to say 2 points for the blue line because you had solid or dotted. Which way, solid or dotted, you had the y-intercept, you also had the slope. So I'm just going to say 2 points for those 3 things. If you goofed one of those things, 1 off. If you goof 2 of those things, 2 off. Same thing for pink line. And then 1 for shading. Okay. So 2 for each line, 1 for shading. You do something out of 5. And, y'all, I had said we were not going to do progress check 2. I think we got plenty of practice with those 2 extra assignments. So after you're done with your quiz today, you should be turning this in so that we can have 2 quizzes and 2 packets on your midterm. Now, my job ain't to get you out of Spartan time. My job isn't even to make you eligible. My job is to present the material to help you with questions so that you learn something. If you are a puddle on the table day after day, or if you just stare at it day after day, if you won't pick up the pencil, if you're not doing something, it's not my job to get you out of Spartan time. It's not my job to make you eligible. Okay? You gotta meet me somewhere. Okay? So you are turning this in after your test today, or those handful of you may be working on 3-4 while everyone else is doing the test, and then you will be, I hope, coming down during Spartan time to do your test instead. If not, it'd be a really good idea to schedule somehow with me to get that done on Tuesday if you want it on the midterm. Otherwise, y'all were gone, that's okay. I'll leave it blank. It gets left blank on the midterm. Your midterm is just the first quiz and the first packet. Okay. So, everyone's got the review? Here we go. So, last quiz left off with word problems, solving inequalities, and graphing a line. So we picked up with graphing 2 lines, and after doing all of this practice, those of you who have been following along with me, I think these are going to be pretty easy. So, solve the system by graphing both equations. I'm going to graph 2 of them and see where they cross. Contestant 1. Where do I start?
+2 on the y-axis.
There we go. I start right there. Y'all, if you need to write off to the side, remember, y is rise over run. Rise is determined by sign because I always go left to right like a book. X plus y-axis start. Okay, if you need to do that to tell yourself that these are numbers, it's always going to have a y and an x, but this is my form for how I graph them. So, contestant 1 here is starting at a +2, and then my slope, -3. It's negative, so I know we're headed down, but where's my overrun?
Over 1.
Because there's nothing there, I assume there's a 1. That's how we make it into a fraction, and we always go left to right like a book. So from this point, I will go down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1. Or I could always reverse the flow and go up 3, left 1. Now these are not inequalities. I don't have to worry about solid or dotted line. They're all just a line. Do y'all have straight edge? Who doesn't have straight edge? Okay.
Thank you.
A couple of the nerd discords that I'm in, they thought it was pretty entertaining that I use card top loaders for straight edges. You got one? Okay. Okay. All right, so get your straight edge on there, connect the dots. I also want to make as many dots as possible and use a straight edge because these two graphs should hopefully cross somewhere. Okay, contestant 2, where am I starting? -3. I write my slope. I don't see a denominator, so I put it over 1. And my always left to right. It's positive, so we head up. I'm going to go up to right 1, up to right 1, up to right 1, up to right 1. I connect dots. Blue line. My wife wants Mexican food. Red line. I hate Mexican food. Green dot. Guadalajara's. I flip over the menu. I get a chicken sandwich and fries. Okay. You do have to tell me the answer, though. This does say solve the system. So you can't just graph and quit. You graph and tell me the answer was 1, -1. Okay? And graph both. Tell me where they cross. Okay, contestant 2. First one's easy enough. I'm going to start at 4. I write my slope as 6 over 1. I go right 1 and up 6. Uh-oh, I can't do that. Reverse the flow of down and left instead. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right 1, or left 1. 1, 3. And then remember that we can always alter these slopes if at all possible. Like I need more points on there. So these 2 dots, I went up 3 and over a half. I cut both those in half. That way I've got more points because I need them to graph a 3-foot long line up here on the board. You don't need that many. You can just do your 2 dots, connect it with your straight edge. Okay? Contestant 2, however, does not look the same way. You have to change it so that it looks the way we're used to graphing it. I'm going to add 2 here and add 2 here. Zero that out and say y equals 6x plus 2. Again, they're not the same critter. Don't try to add them together. Don't you dare say 8x. Turtle's over here, giraffe's over there. And then I start at positive 2. This is why that straight edge is going to be really handy. Look at how close that is. And from there, up 6, right 1. I don't really have enough to do that. But I can go down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and left 1, because it's the exact same slope. Before I go drawing the line, what is it called when they're the same slope? Well, that's the answer. They're parallel lines. Okay, they are parallel lines. It's like train tracks. They're never going to cross. So, yes, sometimes when we graph these, we end up with something that doesn't work at all. They never cross, so don't just draw your 2 lines and quit. Tell me what is the answer. Now you can say no solution, or you can use the symbol for empty set. Empty set means, nah, ain't nothing over here. Okay, it's like Chief Wiggum, there's nothing to look at here, folks. Everyone go home. What if that happened.
Infinite solution.
Okay, remember the difference. You can't say all real numbers because not everything's a solution, but there's an infinite number of them. Infinitely many solutions. Okay, so you have one solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions. Now, if Sullivan put one of each kind on here, one that worked and one that was weird, you're probably gonna have one that works and one that's weird on your test. Which one it is, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I made the problem sets like 8 years ago. I just copy paste. I've got a bank of like 90 of these things. Okay. I'm like, I'll choose this one. So then graphing inequalities. I don't even have to do 2 of them like we did on Tuesday. It's just 1. But it don't look right. Okay. Make it look right. Put that Paxton line. I know some of us need that. I'll subtract 2x, subtract 2x. Zero that out. If I put that 0 there, I should see there's a negative 3y. Less than or equal to. Are those the same critter? They stand right next to each other. All awkward. Which is perfectly fine. You can have a platonic relationship. They can just hang out. And then I want y by itself. Divide everything by negative 3. Everything by negative 3. Everything by negative 3. And get y. Negative over negative is positive 2/3 x. 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. And I divided by a negative. So flip Pac-Man around. That first test, as a whole, y'all were pretty good about that. Like, most of you were pretty good about that when we were solving. So I want to keep that trend going. All right, where do I start? Negative 2 y-axis and slope. Always left to right like a book. Tells me I head up. Up 2, right 3. Ah, crud, I ran out of room. I can also reverse the flow of down 2, left 3. Okay, now it's not equals. So it's an inequality. I have to look out for solid or dotted. Solid or dotted. Okay, it is still a solid line because it's greater than or equal to. It's just not a straight up equal sign. I can determine which way to shade 2 different methods. Method number 1. I shove a 0 and a 0 in there. I get 0 is greater than or equal to negative 2. Is that true?
Yeah.
Being flat broke is better than owing someone $2?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I would shade towards the 0. The other part of this is that says y is greater than or equal to the line. So I would go to where it hits the y-axis and I'll shade up from there because the y's are greater when we go up. Okay. Shade.
You just threw shade. That's good. I just have.
So,
That's what makes it beautiful.
y'all good with this one? Okay. And don't act like dad jokes don't catch on. I saw a kid physically throwing shade at someone, like 2 or 3 years ago out in the commons. It's like a kid who was in my class. I'm like, ah, I see you. I see you. If everything your parents did was lame, then why do you keep remaking everything that we did?
Yes.
At anyone in this room wearing ripped jeans.
Okay, now we're making.
Okay. Couple kids are like, who is it? Okay. You know, ripped jeans were cool because we were poor. We couldn't fix them. Do you remember these guys? These are weird.
Don't you just go right across the board?
Okay. If it's
Oh wait.
y equals number is horizontal. So what's x equals number?
Oh God.
It's horizontal.
Yep. Horizontal and vertical. Okay.
I am Groot.
Okay. Y'all remember me writing the table up here? X and y. If x is -2, I am Groot. If x is 0, I am Groot. I am Groot. Like literally wearing the I am Groot shirt. Okay. Metagaming. Okay. So we are going to have a horizontal line at 4, but is it positive or negative? Okay. Positive 4. And it is dotted because less ink here, less ink there. Now you can still plug in 0, 0. It's just there isn't an x to bother with. But I can still plug in 0 and say, is that true? So if that's true, then I shade towards 0. So you'll shade down. And again, there's this kid in the room. I'm not surprised, dude. I'm not surprised. Okay. Try to make it kind of like it's shaded instead of just spaghetti noodles. Okay. Okay, and then what we were doing the last 2 days is taking all of it and putting it together. What if I have 2 lines, they're both shading, and I have to make them both happy? So, step 1. Does this look the way I want it to? -y greater than, less than or equal to 3x plus 4.
Yep, that one's okay.
No, it's not.
Never mind. No, it's not.
Why not?
Because it doesn't say y.
It doesn't say y, it says -y. I don't know, I don't want to know where my money isn't. I want to know where my money is. This is the opposite of y. So, what number is in front of that y? So divide everything by -1 and get y. 3 over -1 is -3x. 4 over -1 is -4. And because I divided by a negative, flippy flippy, okay, where am I starting? And my slope, right, because we always go left to right like a book and the negative tells me head down. Well, I don't got room to do that. So, change the flow. Go up and to the left. Up 3, left 1. Up 3, left 1. Up 3, left 1. Solid or dotted?
Solid.
And I can decide how to graph or which way to shade by, I can plug in 0, 0, getting 0 greater than -4. Is that true? Having $0 is better than -$4? Oh yeah. So I'm going to put arrows on here to say I'm going to shade that way. I'm not going to do it yet because there's a whole other half of the problem. This also says y is greater than the line, so I would just shade up from the line. Okay, same thing. Okay, contestant 2. I've got -3x plus 3y is less than or equal to -9. That does not look right, so I'll add 3x to both sides, getting 3y less than or equal to, not the same critter, 3x minus 9. Just stand next to each other all awkward like. Y is still not by itself. Divide everything by 3. Getting y is less than or equal to 1x minus 3. And if you need that 1 there as a placeholder to remind yourself, the slope is 1 over 1. So, green line. Start where? Slope is? Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Put it on auto tune, make millions. Solid or dotted? Okay. More ink here, more ink there. And if I want to know which way to shade, I can put my 0, 0 into anything. I can put it down here after I did some work to it, or I could put it in the original and say if these are zeros, I get 0 is less than or equal to -9. Is that a true statement? Flat broke
No.
is worse than owing $9.
No.
No, I don't want to owe money. So it's better. So I shade towards the 0, 0. Or again, this says y is, it's false, so I shade away from. Yes. I was like, that was a hair away from a brownie point there. Whew! Like right as I said, I was like, no. Okay. Do you see where they're all pointing?
The big square or the big triangle.
Okay. Use directions. Left, right, up, down. Where am I going?
Right down.
Okay. The lower right corner, down and right. So I'm going to be down here. Yep. Masterpiece. So, the other one, same deal. But you know what? At the top when we did systems, we had one that worked nice and one that was weird. I wonder what this one's going to do. We had one that was nice. I bet this might be weird. So I start with, that don't look right. 2x plus y less than 4. It doesn't look right. So I'm going to subtract 2x. Get Y is less than negative 2x plus 4. Where am I starting? 4. And from there, my slope, down 2, right 1. Draw the arrows if you need to. Y'all, I don't say this over and over and over and over and over for my benefit. I passed high school. Your turn. Okay? I'm saying it because if I say it every single time, I'm hoping there's going to be like a little Sullivan voice hiding in the back of your head in the middle of this test. You're going to be like, and that means 2 is 5. Okay, and then you can reverse the flow. And I don't even care if I see you over there like rolling your eyes as you're doing your test because it means I got through to you. Okay? Down 2, right 1. Down 2, right 1. Down 2, right 1. Down 2, right 1. Solid. What? It is going to be dotted. Put it on auto to make millions. And then contestant number 2. I have a negative 2x plus y is less than or equal to 4. Can you already see that this one looks kind of similar, like they're cousins or something?
Where are the arrows on the first one?
Oh, should we do that before doing the next guy, or should we do it after? When do we do them? Okay. You should like completely finish it off with arrows and all before moving on to the next one so we don't forget something like that. Yes.
I feel like we need a back.
What?
Yeah. But how do you tell if you go right or left with the cross? Because I like down this way.
You mean the slope of it? Like that I go right?
Yeah.
That's what this is about. Since my slope is negative, that means I'm always going to the right. I always start by going to the right. Left to right like a book. I always start moving to the right along things. It's only when it gets weird that I back up. Okay? That's a good that is not a stupid question. That's a very good question of clarification. And more people should be asking those. So, add 2x. Whoop. Whoa. Is it the same? It's not a negative slope. It's close. Like if this was negative here, they would have been practically the same line. They just would have both shaded and been done. Okay. So this guy still starts at 4, but now, Miss Emily, we always go to the right. The plus or minus tells me up or down. So I go up. So now because it got weird, I flip the directions to go down to left 1. It is a solid line. And yes, we do need our arrows. The first one, or sorry, second one, the one I just did. If I put zeros in there, I get 0 is less than or equal to 4. That true? If I put 0, 0 in here, I get 0 is less than or equal to 4. 0 is less than 4? Yeah, that works. So I'll shade towards the 0. The blue one, we gotta go back to that guy. If I put zeros in there, I get 0 is less than 4. Is that true? So I shade towards the 0. And you get that big triangle in the middle. Womp, womp, womp. We just did a crap ton of practice, going nice and slow and working through the examples, explaining stuff, telling you to write notes. It doesn't need to take that long because I think you can do 6 problems in a half hour. 5 minutes per problem. I think we can do that. Okay? So, those of you who were absent on Tuesday, because we had like 2 or 3 of you missing. If you were absent on Tuesday, you do not have to take this test right now, but if you feel you can come back during Spartan time and do it, if you feel, nah, dude, I got this, and just want to get it over with, okay. You tell me as I come around with the tests whether you are going to do it now or later. If you are going to do it later, then you got to let me know when so that I can write it down or else I'm going to forget stuff. Okay? Devices away.